Well, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Donetta Watson from the Black Mastermind Group. I am here today excited about what's happening around us and across the nation when it comes to entrepreneurship. I am the founder of the Black Mastermind Group, and I welcome you to our Mastermind Minutes so that we can talk more about what's going on in the world of Black entrepreneurship, what's happening in our community, and things that are happening and taking place across the nation as we get our community ready to step into that next level of being entrepreneurs. That's what we do as an organization. We are the Black Mastermind Group. We help create the mindset towards success. There are principles that guide success, that are principles that are governing success. And we want our community of entrepreneurs to understand what that means to be on that journey towards success. All of the principles, all of the strategies, all of the training that is necessary to become successful starts with your mindset. We, in our learning and in our development, understand that 95% of success is strictly mindset. That's powerful. You'll often hear me say on this program, if this is your first time catching it, I'm going to let that marinate. So I'm going to let that sit within you and ponder within your heart as for what in the world does that mean? 95% of everything you will do on your journey towards success is about developing your mind, getting all of those things in here checked that tell you you can't be successful, that tell you that successful businesses that employ people that produce $400,000 or more in revenue is not for Black people. That's white business. That's what people tell me when I begin to talk about these things, that that's not for Black people. Well, who told you that? We can do anything anyone else can do when we make up our mind. And on this journey, we know that the only thing that can and have been destroying a people is lack of knowledge. There isn't anything else. Because there's an answer to everything under the sun. If we knew what the answer was, we would do it. Am I right? So, if the only thing that is preventing us from excelling to the next level is a lack of knowledge, then when we get knowledge, and I'm going to take these glasses off, they're bugging me today. When we get knowledge, then we're on the journey to answering the problems or the concerns that impact our lives, not just our lives individually, but in our organization, we're teaching and training Black entrepreneurs to understand we are a community. We're not on this journey by ourselves. We are in a community of other entrepreneurs. And this community is required, with every opportunity, there are the obligations, responsibilities. And so we want our community to understand that when you are an entrepreneur, yes, there's great benefits and opportunities to being an entrepreneur. But every duty has requirements and responsibilities with it. Every assignment in life has duties and responsibilities with it. And we want our community, our Black entrepreneur community, to understand there are responsibilities and requirements that come with being an entrepreneur. It's not just about making money. You know, that mindset, if that's the mindset that we continue to operate in, that is strictly about making money, and any and everything we do in business is fair because it's business, then we are not going to see the advancement we need to see in our community, because it isn't really the correct spiritual thing to do. Now, when I talk about spiritual, I don't mean churchy. Although I grew up in the church, I spent my entire life in the church. There is a difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality has to do with the laws, spiritual laws, the cosmic forces that cause everything to be in alignment in our universe. Spiritual laws are laws that cannot be broken. So the law of gravity is actually a spiritual law. What you throw up will come down. The law of sowing and reaping is actually a spiritual law. What you put in the ground, it will manifest. You put corn seed in the ground, corn seed's going to come up. If you put green beans seed in the ground, you're going to get green beans. If you plant lettuce seeds, you're going to get lettuce. Well, if you plant discord, hate, unforgiveness, bitterness, you're going to get discord, hate, and unforgiveness and bitterness, because the law of sowing and reaping is a spiritual law, and those laws cannot be broken. The law of compensation. That means that there is a wage to pay for everything that's done. That's concerning working, and it's also a spiritual law that produces compensation for what we release into the atmosphere. That spiritual law cannot be broken. And what we do and what we release as people into the atmosphere, basically the things that we say from our mouth, the things we release in the atmosphere, the law of compensation produces a recompense, a fair wage, a fair pay back for what we release into the atmosphere. So the laws are spiritual laws, and they are the laws that govern life and they govern success. And we can't change them. But what we have also found, that even though you may not be aware of the spiritual laws, you still are held accountable for the recompense for what you release into the world. So if you release negativity and you don't know that's a spiritual law, you're going to reap the negativity, because the spiritual law cannot be broken, and it is in effect whether you believe it or not, whether you know about it or not. The spiritual law is in effect. We put it into effect by the things that we say, which is a gateway. Our words released into the atmosphere are a gateway by the things that we think. What we think, our brain, our mind is a gateway. And so whatever comes in and out of our mind operates through the spiritual law of recompense. So, and what we believe. So those three things cause the spiritual laws to operate: what we say, what we think, and what we believe. Those are areas that what we do in our life, what comes back into our life, is contingent upon what we say, what we think, and what we believe. And those three areas are what we work on in our organization, mastering our own mindset. That's what business mastery is all about. That's what being a Black, let me reverse that. That's what being a Black mastermind is all about. First of all, mastering yourself, mastering your own mindset. And then when we begin to master our mindset, our own mind, we are able then to put additional things into our mind that shifts us, positions us, and moves us into a place of becoming a business mastermind, mastering business. But before we can even begin to teach business concepts, we got to deal with mindset. We got to spend a lot of time plowing through what we believe about ourselves as a people, what the world has spoken corporately, what has been released into the atmosphere corporately, globally, nationally about Black people. See, even when we don't know the law exists, the law of recompense kicks in, and the reward or the return on what is released must happen. So When you hear people say that Black people can't do math, Black people do not have financial skill sets or the capacity or the ability to do business at a certain level, when they say it is one thing. But when we say it as a people, it begins to take an effect. It begins to operate. It begins to manifest in the lives of our people. And we see it every day as we're working with Black entrepreneurs, as we're training them and teaching them new business concepts that they didn't know existed. Many of them will say, that's for white people. How did business concepts and structure and strategy and financial systems become only for white people when every business operates with these basic principles? We call business a science because there are the ability to come up with equations or solve business problems, or come up with solutions that are measurable. And so when we can produce measurable results in business, it's a science. When there are inputs and outputs that produce specific identifiable results, it's in the field that it's looked at as a science. It's predictable, or their equations or hypotheses can be produced and solved, and outcomes are measurable. I hope I didn't lose anybody on that journey. I try to stay out of that arena as much as possible. I can shift there real quick and then I have to pull myself back because my background is in statistics and quality systems analysis. And so identifying patterns and sequences and cycles of operations and can give you the ability to predict outcomes by identifying the patterns. Business is the same. And over the course of history, things that are researched, there's research going on every day in our country, well, Monday through Friday. Well, no, my staff did statistical research evenings and weekends. So every day of the week, there is data being collected on everything that happens in our country. Business, the same. There's data being collected on products that are produced in the by the manufacturer, and those products being distributed to the retail sites, and the length of time it takes for them to leave the shelf in the retail site and consumed by the consumer. And as far as identifying what the price point was that the consumer purchased the goods, all of that information is being collected on every industry in our country. Every business industry has an industry code, and it's called a NAICS code, NAICS code, NAICS code, NAICS code, NAICS code. You'll hear it pronounced different. NAICS. That is a code that's assigned to every industry across the world, not just in America. The comparison studies are done globally on what it takes to produce a product and the cost of the product production, cost of goods that went into the product, and the time and point when the product leaves the manufacturer, what the manufacturer suggests the product should be sold for. Then the product goes to the retail distribution site where it is made available to the consumer. And then what makes the consumer buy it? Most people think it's price alone, but that's how we think, that it's price alone that determines when to buy a product or service. But the larger society, our counterparts, buy based on value. And so they look at price versus value. And it doesn't matter to them what the price is if they can see intrinsic value to them about the product or the service. So the price point doesn't matter if it has value to them, intrinsic value. When the value outweighs the price, they buy. We buy when the price dictates to us there's value. We buy. The lower the price, the more apt we are to purchase. Well, our counterparts don't think that way, and they don't do business that way. So price is not always a factor for them. It's not a determinant as to whether or not they're going to buy your goods or services. Quality, value, yes, how it makes them feel, intrinsic value to them, how it makes them feel about the purchase. That's what's important to them. And so data is being collected every day across this nation to determine the whole cycles and operations of business. Just because we're not aware doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And because of the NICS code, however you want to pronounce it, every industry has industry analysis reports where they can tell you what, for over the period of history, from the inception of this industry, there's particular set patterns that are already demonstrated over time to be successful. And if you do what has been done, you are almost assured the same level of success. So, price points for products and services. I often say that in our classes that we just grab prices out of our Wahoo and we stick it out there. We don't know where it came from. We don't know why we put that price on it. It just sounded good and it felt good. So we stick that price on our products and put it out in the marketplace. And we haven't determined if that price point covers what it costs for us to do business. Oftentimes, we see someone else charging a particular price for a product or service. And because that price seems to work for them, we tag that price on our products. Now, there are industry average reports that will tell you the industry average price that a product should sell for. Matter of fact, there's that MSP, MSP, manufacturer's suggested price, that is on every product that is produced by manufacturers. So if you're selling something that's in the marketplace, say the manufacturer will recommend to you it should not ever be lower than this price. The manufacturer suggested, and you'll sometimes see the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. You have your wholesale price points and you have your retail price points. So the manufacturer will tell you in your industry analysis reports, this is what it costs to produce the product. We recommend on a wholesale level that the price never goes below this level. We recommend if you're going to mark it up and add markup to the price, that the price point, the suggested retail price point, starts here. And so when we go into business, we do not do market research. We don't do analysis of our product or service, even when it's already in the marketplace and we're going to do something similar. We traditionally don't do the research to determine what the acceptable price is in the marketplace, but not only what it is, but why. And so we want our entrepreneurs to understand what they're doing in their business is what's determining their price. What you do in your business determines your price. The manufacturer has suggested a retail price, but you never go below that price. You can always go higher than that price. We think that that's the price it must sell for. They're suggesting it should never go below that price point. But what we do in our program is we teach entrepreneurs how to determine what their price should be. Very simple exercise, but the only thing that can destroy a people is lack of knowledge. If you've never been taught what goes into the price of the product or service you bring to the marketplace, then how do you know if you're making money, if you're profitable or not? If you've never calculated your costs, all of the cost that goes into offering that product or service. So there's location price, there's utility price, There is supplies, equipment, goods that go into that price. There is staff time that goes into that price. So every staff person that has any input directly or indirectly in that product or service being created and distributed, their time must be factored in the price of the product. So we have to be very careful when we grab prices that sound good or work for someone else, and we haven't quantified whether that price point gives me enough money to cover the production of the product. Now, we have to go a step further than that because producing the product means you're breaking even. If you cover the cost for production only, you're breaking even. And when you break even, you're still broke. So Dr. Watson doesn't teach break even. We teach profitability. And for so long, our focus has been on getting companies to understand we teach how to do a break even analysis and when it's important to know what your break even is. But if you're going to remain in business, you have to shift your mindset to be having a mindset of profitability, to go the next level beyond running a business that you break even on paying all your expenses and you feel like you've done a great job because at the end of the month all your bills are paid, but you have no profit. We want to take you to the next level of being a profitable business model. And that means you must add some additional things into your price point to ensure that you're going to be profitable. Most people don't teach entrepreneurs, or most of our entrepreneurs are not aware that after you determine the cost of providing the goods or service, then you must determine what does it take to get it to the marketplace. What all is it going to take for customers to be aware that I have a product or I have a service that meets their pain points, that solves their issues, the very thing that they've been looking for? I have it. That's some real serious work that must be done, not by you, entrepreneur. This is another thing that gets us in trouble. So many things I can tell you, but the main point I want to address here is marketing is the second reason. Lack of marketing in our businesses is the second reason that our businesses fail. I don't care what anybody says. You're not strong enough in your business understanding, all of those things. The main reason our businesses fail, number one, is lack of sales, lack of revenue. Number two, lack of strategies to produce revenue. And the only strategy that impacts your final dollars, your revenue, your profitability, the only thing that impacts it is marketing. I'm going to let that marinate. That's one of those things that I really need you to comprehend because in our culture, we predominantly do not do marketing. Don't know why. We do social media posting. That's not marketing. That's one of the marketing strategies, but it's not marketing. That's just one component of advertising. And full marketing strategies consist of a 365 strategy of engaging with your customers and advertisements that get you in front of your customers and promotions, which are opportunities to engage your customer to buy and spend more or create loyalty or longevity in your relationship with your customers. So when we hire people or when we ourselves post things on social media platforms, that's not marketing, that's advertising. And so we do a lot of advertising. We advertise to a vast array of people, hoping that what we put out in the marketplace lands in front of the person that we hope to become one of our customers. And when we do full 365 marketing strategies, we identify the people that are our best likely customers. We identify the attributes of those people that we feel are best suited for the product or service that we bring to the marketplace, because everybody's not your customer, everybody's not your client. There are certain attributes of those individuals. If you study your customers and you study your clients and you study your business, there are similarities of behaviors, similarity of thinking, similarity of lifestyle, education, income, ethnicity, often, of the customers that are best fit for your business. And you having the ability to identify your most likely customer is the work of marketing. So the marketing strategy consists of determining, who am I selling to? Who needs what? What I bring to the marketplace. We have the mindset that if I build it, they will come. And this is borrowed from someone, but if you build it, all you have done is built it. It doesn't mean people are going to come. When you understand who you're building your business for and what they like and what they need and what they desire, because people don't buy what they need. People buy what they want. People buy what they desire. And when we show up trying to sell people what they need, even you don't buy what you need. Most people buy what they want and buy what they desire because of the image they see of themselves. What they buy exemplifies who they think they are and how they feel about themselves. And marketing will identify how a person feels and thinks about themselves. And that's the person you want to engage in your business. That person that feels they are at a different level, what makes them feel important, or at a different level in life by patronizing your business. It is all mindset. Again, 95% of success in business is mindset. 5% of everything you do is identifying the right strategy for the right people. I'm going to say it again. 95% of success in business is mindset. 5% is the strategies to get in front of the right people. Bring your products and services in front of your ideal customer or client. And we go beyond customers. We don't want customers, because customers patronize you when it's convenient for them. They show up at your business, but if it's not convenient, guess what? They're going to your competitor. They're not loyal customers. They choose to do what they want to do with their money. They have no clear commitment to any one particular brand or another. That's customers. And we predominantly are customers, consumers in the marketplace. We predominantly do not operate from a position of brand loyalty, brand identity, brand awareness, and distinction. We generally operate by price. And so it's very difficult. I'm sorry, I don't mean to generalize, but it's very difficult to build a business specifically serving the Black community, because our mindset is not built around value. Our mindset is built around get it at the lowest price you can possibly get it at. Doesn't matter where you get it, just get it. Well, that doesn't make business very easy for our community. Black entrepreneurs have a very difficult time because our customer base generally doesn't understand brand loyalty, our customer base. And oftentimes our entrepreneurial community doesn't operate from a position of establishing client relationships built on brand loyalty, distinction, awareness, Those things we haven't grabbed a hold of because they're marketing strategies. And those are the things we have to learn. Again, the only thing that can destroy a people is lack of knowledge. And the second part of that scripture says, and when knowledge presents itself, we reject it. And that's how we've been operating as a community in the past because we think we have a better way. We think we can circumvent the system. We think we know better than all of the statistical data out there that tells you what you should and should not do in business. Oh, we got a better way of doing it. We've invented a better mousetrap. And so, because we've invented a better way, our hookups, hobbies, and hustles, we can make money doing hookups, hobbies, and hustles, but we have not been able to move out of nickel and dimes and dollar business to that next level because we haven't decided to do business based on the principles of business. We've not been willing to learn the strategies that come with running gainful, successful business models. And predominantly, this is what is keeping us out of wealth as entrepreneurs. We tend to create jobs that we have to show up at, that if we don't show up, we don't eat. We create business models that are glorified jobs that if we don't show up, if we don't turn the sign over to open, if we don't put the products on the shelves, if we don't ring up the cash register, if we don't create the product, if we don't sweep the floor, take out the trash, clean the toilet, the business won't be successful. If we don't post an ad on Facebook, if we don't go and pick up the supplies, the business won't be able to be successful. And in essence, all we've done is created a job for ourselves, a glorified one and an exhausting one. That's what we know in our community about business. And when we want to grow our businesses, we open up another location that we show up at also, because we don't trust anybody to hire them to run it. So husbands at one location, wives at the other. You go home tired, exhausted. And God forbid if you got children and they have things going on at school. Well, you tell the kids, I can't be there because of the business. And then we want to know, why do Black entrepreneurs not have second generation entrepreneurs? Because what they've seen in business is not attractive to them. They want absolutely nothing to do with business because of what you've demonstrated to them business is not anything they want. They don't want to be a slave to something they have to show up at. It's no different than being on the corporate plantation. You have to show up to eat. So you just traded one plantation, one slave mindset, one slave mentality for a different one. Sorry if that hurts, but that's the reality. And sorry if it makes you, well, I'm not sorry if it makes you mad because I really need you to think. I need you to shift your mindset. 95% of success is mindset. And I need you to shift your mindset that there are different ways to run a business. There are different things about business that you're not aware of. And when knowledge is presented, we really need you not to fight it because it's already proven that these are the strategies that work. And not only have they been proven, those strategies are made available. Yes, they cost money. Yes, you must buy industry analysis reports. They're not free, but they're the best investment because you're learning from someone who has done it before. You're reading information about what has already happened in your industry, what is being predicted by analysts, people who study business, financial analysts that study money, people who understand how to move a business to the next level. They're going to share with you in your industry reports what they believe the trends will be in the future. They will show you on a bell curve the life cycle of business. Every industry has a life cycle. Whether you're in the beginning phases of the life cycle of this particular industry, or whether it is at peak. If an industry at its full peak, it can't go any higher. The only thing it's going to do is go down. What do you do when you are considering whether to start a business? Do you start a business in an industry that is at its full peak? God forbid. No. You walk away. Why? Because the only place it can go is down. Most business people know that when an industry begins to become oversaturated in the marketplace, it can do nothing but go down. It is not time for you to get in that industry. It is time for you to walk away. But predominantly, I don't mean to generalize, I just need to make a good point that if you step back for a minute and realize we traditionally have gotten into businesses when they are at their peak. They're at their peak in the marketplace because they're everywhere. They're oversaturated in the marketplace. And what happens is it begins to decline. So, one of the industries that is at its peak is the traditional way that cosmetology has been done. It is at its peak. It is not a good career choice. It is not a good business model because it's on the decline. The very things that were producing the success in the industry, your customer base no longer desires those things. But traditional programs are still teaching the old way of serving customers. And consequently, that is not what the customer wants. So the industry as a whole is on a decline. It's oversaturated. There's too many in the marketplace. It can't hold anymore. But we don't understand business analysis. And so we jump into an industry that within 10 to 20 years, it is going to be non existent. Technology has proven that certain industries have a very short lifespan. And if you get in that industry at its peak, you're only going to lose money because customers have moved on to something else. And you're in it and you're trying to win in it, and you're not going to win because it is at its decline. There are certain indicators that will tell you when you read a business analysis report, it will tell you what the time frame has been for that particular industry and if it is at its peak, because the only other place it can go is down. That is life cycle of everything. It goes up, it peaks, and it declines. Where we make the mistake is when something is being introduced to the marketplace, we sit on the sideline and we watch and we watch and we watch. And when it peaks, we jump in and everybody else is getting out, but we jump in. And as it begins to decline, we're still jumping in. And then we're in a business model that will eventually disappear. And we didn't experience the money that everyone else made in the industry because we got in too late. Mindset. We believe we have to wait and see it before we believe it. Mindset. We do not understand business cycles to be able to know when it's time to get in and when it's time to get out. And so they sell us their businesses and we buy them. And we might get a year to 3 years of good growth out of the revenues, but the customer base diminishes. And no matter what we do, we can't get enough customers in the door to make the level of money our counterparts made when they got in at the bottom, at the ground floor, and rode it all the way to the top floor. And then they got off the elevator and you jumped in. And now there are no more floors for it to go. All it can do is go back down. And so we're in there and we're locked in a contract with this company and we're stuck in this business model and it begins to decline. I can list a lot of MLM companies that have gotten people locked into contracts knowing that their industry is on decline. And you're in there and they've made all the money that could be made from the ground floor to the top floor. And now you're in it at the top floor and all it's doing is declining. And you have to ride it out because you signed a contract. Those are things that if you took a little bit of time and researched before you made a decision, you would have made a very informed decision because industry analysis reports will tell you that the life cycle of this particular industry is this. And now it's been in existence in this period of time. The only place it can go is down. And then you should be able to make an informed decision to walk away. So there's a lot of business models. We as a community, as a culture of people, we're in those business models and there's no more you're going to grow. There's no capacity, no ability to grow because the life cycle of it is at its peak and it's in the pre phase of decline. And that's where we get deceived because it's still producing some money, but the customer, this it's oversaturated in the marketplace and there's no new customer desire. No new customers coming into the marketplace, and the current customers have lost the desire and they've moved on to something else. And you're still trying to push what has already been in the marketplace, and the customers have bought all they want of it and have patronized all they want of it, and it's on decline. And they're still trying to hold it. Got you holding it, thinking that one day it's going to turn around. Well, there's a life cycle to everything. And if you live long enough, you'll see. I've lived long enough. I remember the rotary phone. I remember the car phone that had the wires and the attachments in the car. I remember the things that existed that are no longer in the marketplace. Why? Technology moved it on, and there is no customer demand, not customer need, customer desire, want, or demand. And when customers no longer desire it, no longer want it, and no longer demand it, it disappears. Industry reports will tell you. And so being an entrepreneur is a lot of responsibility on you to understand the business side of your business. You know, we are gifted and talented and creative people, but what we lack is business knowledge. We're not students of business. We lack an understanding of the cycles, the systems, the processes, the procedures, the strategies of business. And when we don't have those, that's what causes us to be destroyed in business. That's what causes us to predominantly open business at a faster rate than any other ethnic group and also close it faster. It used to be 3 to 5 years businesses would fail. It has been 18 months in the last 7 to 10 years. In the cycle of failure has increased. Why? Because there's more people starting businesses in the marketplace and more people failing. Because somehow we believe this concept, proudly we say it, that I bootstrap my business. And because we heard other people say it, we think that's the way it's supposed to be done because they bootstrapped. But I want to tell you, no business exists on the face of the earth that did not get an infusion of cash from somewhere. So, in essence, nobody bootstraps. Everybody has gotten someone to help them with some type of financial assistance, whether it be mama putting some money in the bank for you, or your daddy, or your cousins, or your friends, or relatives, or people that wanted to help you Somebody put cash in that business because it doesn't grow without it. Cash is called capital. No business will grow without capital. And there are certain periods and points in time, growth demands capital. And when we don't have it, we can't even get to growth. There's seasons and cycles of business, that periods of time that you're in a certain mode and you should stay in that mode until the business produces the requirement of that period before you move to the next. So we start a business and try to grow it within the first 3 years. And that's detrimental to the business because every time you put a growth strategy in place, it increases your operating expenses. And if you're not prepared for that increase in operating expenses, the business then begins to die. When we bootstrap our businesses, we start it with our own money. And when we run out of money, see, we don't crowdfund. We do when we want to bury somebody. We do crowdfund for that, but we don't crowdfund for business because predominantly our community doesn't support crowdfunding. It doesn't work in our community. And so if you can't go to another source and acquire additional capital, then when you have drained all of your resources and now you have jacked up your credit, you don't have any place to go to get the additional money, the additional cash you need to move the business to the next level. And in a matter of 18 months, we figure it out. I don't have any money and I can't go get any. And within 18 months, the doors are closed. Why? Because we built it on the cash we had in our pocket and not on sound financial systems, which requires you never to spend cash in business. You never do business with cash. You never, cash is not part of the business equation. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. You never run a business with cash, you run a business with capital. The only tool that was ever created for capitalism is capital, credit. That's how you run a business. And so all of these things are mindset issues. Oh my God, if I could just get our community to make a shift in their paradigm about business and the things that they've seen and the things that they've heard that people call business, that is not business. And the way they do things that they've seen over the course of time, that they say, my uncle did this, my daddy did this, and it worked for them. No, it didn't work. If it did, it'd still be existing in the marketplace today. If it worked for them, it's got to work for the business world. It's got to work for the customers. It's got to work for your clients. The most optimum relationship in business is clients, not customers. But my people, hear me. We're being destroyed because we don't understand these basic things about business. We understand our product. Oh my God, we are an amazing producer of great products, great services, creativity beyond. There is no other ethnic group that can match and compare to the creativity of the Black entrepreneur. But creativity alone will not make you wealthy. I want to see us wealthy. I want to see us win in business. I want to see us doing business the way business should be done to position us. I want to see us running sound business models that employ people. OMG, if I can get my community of Black entrepreneurs to understand, you will never produce wealth by yourself. Business is not a solo sport. It never has been. It never will be. It requires a team. If we can get our community to understand the basics of business, OMG, the world's got to make room for us. Not only that, we can build our own tables. And we can put whomever we choose at our own tables. And we can start making decisions about our own people where other people are making decisions for us about what's best for us. We can make our own decisions when we show up with some form of wealth, because that's all America pays attention to, your net worth, your value. And when you have a net worth, they'll listen to you and your opinions will matter, and how you're being treated will matter, and what's being done to you as a community of people will matter. That one must marinate. So, all we're doing is trying to teach our people about business. And you'll see this link scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We work with community organizations, we work with other government entities, we work with local city, county, state, and federal entities to put dollars into a scholarship fund, to put our Black entrepreneurs in a business training program that will teach them about business. We're not going to teach you how to sew better. We're not going to teach you how to bake a cake better. We're not going to teach you how to do hair better, how to sing better. We're not going to teach you that. We're going to teach you how to become wealthy with what it is you've been given to do. Your assignment in life should be producing wealth for you. And all we need to do is teach you about business, teach you how to become a student of business, how to study business, how to understand the concepts of business that all other ethnic groups are operating from. It's evident they are, because their businesses are surpassing ours. They're producing businesses that on average make $28,000 to $35,000 a year more than ours. Statistics tell the story. We are not doing very well in business. Black people. Now, just because you are, but it's not okay if you're doing okay and everybody else is not. Every other ethnic group starts a business to help their community. Every other ethnic group goes into business to employ and create opportunities for their community, but Black people. Yeah, I'm going to call us out on this one. The reason our community is in the condition that it is, Dr. Watson said it, yes, go tell it, is because of the Black entrepreneur. And if we can get our Black entrepreneur community acting like a community and not selfish people that's looking out for my few, my two, and no more, we would be someplace else economically. But we start businesses only to make ourselves wealthy. We don't start businesses that are going to impact our community. And now it's time that we change what we've been doing, because it is not working. It is not helping our community. It's not impacting our community. It's not creating opportunities for our community. And now we must take our responsibility. Dr. Watson always got to drive you around the block, down the street a few ways, and bring you all the way back. We are not fulfilling our responsibility that comes with being an entrepreneur. Yes, there are amazing benefits to being an entrepreneur, but it also has responsibilities and requirements, and we're not doing them. Predominantly 94 before COVID, hear me people, the numbers are there, Google it and research it. It was 96%, and then 2% woke up and realized that I can't do this by myself, I need a team. And then 94% of the Black entrepreneurial community hires absolutely no one. 94% of our over 2.4 million businesses hired absolutely no one. So on my exit, I want that to settle in with you and marinate real good. We cannot continue to do things the way we've been doing it. It is detrimental to our overall community. It is detrimental. And I want to hit you with this, because if you're not community conscious, it's detrimental to your own wealth. It's detrimental to your family lifestyle. It is detrimental to your children for you to be a solopreneur business model. Sole proprietorship is the worst form of business for us to be in. We must get out of that sole proprietor, solopreneur mindset. Master business. Become a student of business. Understand how wealth is generated in business. It is not generated from you yourself alone, running and doing everything half. Oh, I can't say what my mama would say, but half doing everything, because all you've successfully done is become a jack of all trade, but you've mastered absolutely nothing because time doesn't allow you to master every part of business. So you may be great at doing production, but you're not good at organizational design and HR. You're doing wonderful at sales, but you're horrible at marketing, and your books are a hot mess. We're not designed to do it all. We're designed to do our part, lead and guide and oversee, to be the carrier of the vision. But we need a team. And the very day that we as a culture of people wake up and start building business models that will be able to be sustainable, because we have people in the process that gives us the ability to grow based on their effort, their energy, their time, their gifts, and their talents, we can expand the business and grow it. But my people, we are being destroyed for lack of knowledge about business, and it's time. So that link you see scrolling across the screen is about the scholarships that we have available to put our people in a class and teach them about business. We have 3 programs. We have an 8-week boot camp. We have a 4-month program. We have a 6-month program that has a 12-month coaching component to it, because we know you can't do this by yourself. It's going to take people who understand this journey and are willing to invest in you. Yeah. If you're willing to invest in yourself, people will invest in you. So that link you see scrolling on the screen is for you to get into on the list. We have a waiting list. We are giving scholarships every 3 months, and those scholarships go to the most needed businesses. We want to make sure we are impacting the lives of those whose businesses were impacted by COVID first. And then we want to make this opportunity available for anyone who wants to know business at a level that they can become successful in business. Join us by taking the survey, getting on the waiting list, and every 3 months we start another class. So we're wrapping up registration for our July class. We have 11 scholarships left. We have our September class coming up, and we will have, our goal is to have Hampton Roads, Virginia, Kansas City, and Houston. That would be 20 seats in each city. That's 60 seats that will be available in September. Our goal is to be in any other city near you in January. So we're going to remain virtual and train people across the nation, because our ultimate goal is for us as the Black community to win in business. Thank you all so very much. We are so honored to be on Black Expo USA's platform talking to you about business. Now we want you to take the next step. Go to the Black Mastermind Group. Check us out. We hold monthly events strictly to help our community build our mindset. And the event coming up in June is a conversation with Black men about business, because 90% of what is happening with Black entrepreneurship is happening with Black women. Our Black men are not in the equation, and we're deeply concerned that our Black men are not opening businesses at the rate and the level that Black women are. So we're wanting to have that conversation with Black men about business. Now, women, it's for you too, because you need to understand what's happening in the mindset of the man that's in your life. If you're out leading and you're out conquering mountains and slaying dragons, and you come home and he's just there, we need to understand what's happening with the mindset of our men. And then every June and December, we graduate our students that complete our business mastery programs. And so for the July 16th, 17th, and 18th, we'll be holding our graduations, our weekend celebration. We do a graduation conference, and then we do a graduation ceremony, recognizing the work that every entrepreneur has done to make themselves a master of business. So thank you all. Go to our website, theblackmastermindgroup.com. Again, that's theblackmastermindgroup.com. Check us out. We'd love to see you at our July event, June, a conversation with Black men about business, and at our July conference, July 16th, 17th, and 18th. Thank you so very much. God bless you. And we will see you again next week.